All right, I want to bring in my Gen Z roundtable. And we're more of an arc today, so everybody gets a view of what's behind us and in front. CJ Pearson is a podcast host and chairman of the Next 250 PAC. Chloe Trapanato is an opinion writer for the Daily Wire. Gregory Lyakhov is a campus reform correspondent. And Daniel DiMartino is a Manhattan Institute fellow. All right, so I am among the stars. Lightning round right now, starting with you, Daniel. What is your idea of the American dream?
I think it is being able to come from nothing and being able to achieve what you really want in life. And for me, that was coming from Venezuela and living the life that I wanted to be in the United States.
Yeah, I think it's very similar, that your own individual responsibility and effort will be the main contributor to your future success and the success of your children.
Wow. Okay. Chloe.
I think the American dream is knowing that no matter where you start, you can end up somewhere extraordinary. Every single person in this country has the ability to change the world just by being here. We're incredibly blessed, all the more for it.
CJ.
I think the American dream is waking up every single day and knowing that you hit the lottery and that you are so blessed to know that you were born right here in the greatest country in the world. People are beating down the door to enter this country, and it's for good reason, Harris.
Look, I want to get real on a couple of things, and we have seen this play out. Artificial intelligence and, young people your age faced with, well, is that going to take away part of my American dream? In reverse order, I'll start with you.
Well, I'm a lot more worried about China than I am about AI. And if they're allowed to win the AI arms race, what that actually means for the global world order. I think there's a way to promote and cultivate innovation, just like we did for the past 250 years, going into the next, but also to protecting the American worker. These are all things that we can have conversations all at once, not in silos.
Yeah, Harris, I think I'm more so worried about importing and electing leaders that have this sheer disdain for America. I think AI is a very useful tool that we can use to understand more about American history, understand where we came from, use it to build amazing American things and change the world.
If you guys are the future, I think we're going to be good. All right, Gregory.
Yeah, I think in general that AI is innovation, and what makes our country great is that we have innovation and we continuously innovate more and more. Every single situation, whether it's the Industrial Revolution, we have the same conversation. Will this take away jobs? And some people thought yes, some people thought no, but it resulted in what America is today, which is the greatest country with the most innovation and the most technologically advanced country in the world.
All right, I want to do something a little differently with you, Daniel, because you mentioned your family's history in Venezuela. We are taking a socialist tilt right now. What are your thoughts?
I am extremely worried because one of the reasons I picked America to get here was that I thought that this country was the least likely to go down the path of Venezuela. And I am really scared to see that there are leaders. It's not even that their policies are similar, but that they even admire Venezuela, admire Cuba, admire the Soviet Union. We have elected members of Congress and people who are likely to be elected who would do to us what the people who destroyed Venezuela did to me.
Wow. All right, I want to get to this. A recent poll shows a huge party division when it comes to patriotism. Less than half of Democrats now say that they are proud Americans compared to 93% of Republicans. Well, you know what? Have you seen their policies? Maybe that's why they're so miserable. Two other polls show young Americans are less patriotic than past generations. Far fewer say they are proud to be an American. This is a sad statistic, but it's something to deal with. So reverse order now. Daniel, how do we deal with it?
I think that the main reason this is happening is our education system. I didn't go through the American high school education system. So for me, coming from the outside, what I saw in America was this nation that stood up for the liberty of Americans, but also my liberty in Venezuela. Look at what America is doing right now in Venezuela. Look at what they're doing in other countries. And I hope that more young Americans are taught the real history, the good and the bad, and show that the good is really much greater.
Yeah, it's interesting what you say. I mean, look at what President Trump has done in Venezuela. And people, even from our shores, saying this is good for the people of Venezuela. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, look, there's a reason why the only American flag you'll see at these leftist protests is the one being burnt. And that just goes to show what these people are being taught. The younger generation has been fed by our college education system to believe in this binary of oppressor versus oppressed ideology.
That is so true.
When you think yourself, when you think the Western world is oppressive, then you're going to hate America. Look, Campus Reform just covered a story on this where UPenn, one of the world's renowned institutions, has 15 courses that celebrate America's 250th anniversary. 5 of them talked about slavery and immigration. Not one of them even mentioned the Declaration of Independence. That's crazy.
That is almost unbelievable. Wow, Chloe.
Well, Harris, luckily Gen Z does like their trends, and right now America is trending cool again, at least for young Republicans. We need to red, white, and blue pill, as we say, more of these young Republicans. And how could you not? I mean, America's incredible. We are playing golf on the moon. All of the things that Americans do. It's just incredible.
That might be the only place my golf game can go. CJ, you know what's interesting? You talk about trending, as Chloe mentioned. Faith is also trending right now.
You're right. People are headed back to the church in a way in which we've never seen before. And I think we've got to give Charlie Kirk his flowers when it comes to that. I talk about his death not just sparking a revolution in this country, but a revival in a way in which we have never seen before. People are running towards tradition. They're running back towards patriotism. They're running back towards the values that make America America. And regardless of how much the left tries to convince us to hate this country, it's telling that they won't leave this country.
You know, mentioning Charlie Kirk in this context is so important because he was that individual that had so many rich conversations with Gen Zers in particular.
Right.
And in this moment, just a reminder of freedom is not free. And part of that religious freedom, that freedom of speech that he was about, and so many young people are now, and not just young, I'm raising teenagers, I have to be the light in their life. Like, I have to be the real deal. My husband and I have to be real about those issues. So it's our responsibility, our generation too. As we kind of close out this segment, I am curious to know how you deal with the politics of the moment. And are you seeing more people in your age group saying, I'm not going to vote, or I'm going to vote?
You know, I think we've got to reach people where they are. As Republicans, as conservatives, we got to go to the places where typically we would not have been seen before. We can't just preach to the choir. We've got to do the hard work to grow the congregation. I refuse to believe the lies of the left that this country is something I should be ashamed of. I'm proud of it. The fact that I am sitting here as the product of a teen mom who was raised by his grandparents can sit here and reflect about how great this country is on Fox News is a testament to the American dream and how it's enduring.
Amen to that.
I think young people are really curious as to why things seem to be a little disheveled right now, and they want to learn more. So if we can reach them and teach them the history of America, why it is so incredible, and how we can prevent socialist policies and policies that would destroy our great nation from ensuing, I think that's the way to reach these young people and spread the message.
All right. Almost out of time, but I want to hear from you, Gregory, and Daniel.
The way you reform this is by changing our education system, by reforming it, by not allowing the left to control the institutions that allow our young people in this country to actually learn. That's where reform really needs to be brought forward.
I think it's about stories. I think that people are captivated by stories, and they were captivated by the stories of the left, and now we have to captivate them with the real story of America, which is a story of exceptionalism.
You know what? You're right. We call it testimony because America's been tested a lot.
And we all have a testimony here.
We all have testimony here, and we know how great our country is. We're coming right back. Stay